not to turn back. There are many faces of giving up. Our simple perseverance and fidelity, with the best cheer we can muster, can be part and parcel of an ending that is good beyond our imagining. Living in times you did not choose. Frodo said, "I wish it need not have happened in my time." Gandalf responded, "So do I, and so do all who live to see such times. But that is not for them to decide. All we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given to us." Now, in the readings that we had today, the first reading was that lengthy reading we have during the 5th week of Lent of the story of Susanna from the book of Daniel. And the book of Daniel is a book that in many ways encourages us to persevere in the face of a lot of obstacles and persecution and hardships. And so think, for example, Daniel chapter 3, the 3 companions of Daniel. And they are told they must bow down before the idol that the king has set up. They must worship a false god. They refuse to do it. They're told, "You're going to be thrown in the fiery furnace if you don't." Well, we're just going to put ourselves in the hands of God. If he will save us, he will save us. And so you remember the story that they're thrown into that furnace, and the king sees a 4th one. It looks like a son of God, an angel. And they were preserved from that fire. So when they were called to commit idolatry, to worship false gods, they refused, entrusting themselves to God. And then in Daniel chapter 6, Daniel himself is threatened that if anyone petitions anyone beside Darius the king to God or man, they will be thrown in a pit of lions. In other words, don't pray. Well, Daniel prayed 3 times a day, and his windows made it obvious that he was doing this. And so there were these officials that really wanted to get him in trouble. That's why they stirred this whole thing up. So Daniel, too, refuses not to pray. He continues to pray, even though he's going to be thrown in this pit of lions. And again, an angel rescues him. And the very ones that had plotted his demise were thrown to the lions. And then we have the story of Susanna. She's told to commit adultery under severe pressure. "We're going to falsely accuse you. You'll be put to death." And what did Susanna say? Beautiful words for us to keep in mind today. "Yet it is better for me to fall into your power without guilt than to sin before the Lord." So you think about these 3 persecutions. My dear people, we are suffering under these same persecutions today. To worship false gods, to give ourselves over to other things, materialism, hedonism, whatever it might be. We also are told to just yield to secularism, just whatever people want to do, and just live as if there is no God. It's useless to pray. And we're also told, with great pressure today, loudly proclaimed in the media, just give in to immorality, accept immorality. Let's put it into law. That's the pressure that's on us, almost as great as what these figures in the book of Daniel suffered. Living in times we did not choose. We'd much rather live in a moral culture where virtue was encouraged and instilled. And thankfully there are groups that are working to do that, and we're all called to help build that culture that encourages virtue and holiness and prayer. Thanks be to God for this network that's helping to inspire many to do just that. But we also know that there is a lot of pressures just to yield to secularism, to worship false gods, to give in to immorality. Come on, everybody's doing it. And so there is this pressure upon us all. And what does Susanna say? Yet it's better for me to fall into your power without guilt than to sin before the Lord. Last night, Doug Keck sent around an email that we'd received from a young man. And he was commenting on, I hope you had the opportunity to see a 5-part series on EWTN called Catholic Scandinavia with Colm Flynn, who is the host. It's a wonderful 5-part series talking about the faith of Catholics in Norway, Sweden, Denmark. We actually have an office there, EWTN Nordic. And so we received this email recently from a 14-year-old Swedish boy, same age as our youngest server here, 14 years old. Here's what he wrote. I'm a 14-year-old boy from Sweden. I received my first communion in 2017. I think he was 9 years old. After 3 years of being lukewarm, I've come back to the faith. I love our Lord Jesus Christ and his blessed Mother Mary. I love our Lord, and I want to grow closer to him every day. I recently started a confirmation preparation youth group. And my confirmation saint will be Saint Eric of Sweden. When I'm confirmed, I want to join Saint Eric's Legion and take part in their mission to revive the Catholic faith in Sweden. I love my country and I love my church. I'm super thankful that the Lord has given us this wonderful country and this wonderful church. It's time for us to take our country and make it a country of God, a country that serves the Lord and not false gods like materialism. Isn't that remarkable? You see, the Spirit stirred up within Daniel, this young boy, and he's stirring up young people, middle-aged people, older people. The Spirit is working. That's what gives us heart and hope. The book of Daniel tells us, yes, those who are striving to be faithful to God, to live a life faithful to God, they're going to struggle sometimes. They're going to be persecuted. They're going to be defamed maybe at times. And yet we have to have that courage of these figures, the 3 young men in the fiery furnace, Daniel and Susanna. They encourage us to trust in the Lord. Frodo said, I wish it need not have happened in my time. And Gandalf said, so do I. And so do all who live to see such times. But that is not for them to decide. All we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given to us.